Welcome, everyone. I don't know fully if we're live. Yeah, I think now the view counter started moving. So welcome, everyone, to episode 116 of Rocket Lab Weekly. We have today Scotto with us from Canada, and Matt Money is supposed to be also here, but I think he's doing his makeup, cutting his hair. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope all of you have had a wonderful Christmas. And yeah, welcome to the last episode of 2025 of Rocket Lab Weekly. It's going to be a fantastic episode. Last year, I don't know if you guys remember, we made predictions, all four of us, about what is going to happen this year in Rocket Lab world. And it's very interesting to see. And we're going to point which one of us predicted it the best. And we're going to make new predictions for 2026. But that is going to be at the end of the show. Welcome again. How has your week been, Scott?
Pretty busy with Christmas and everything. We've got a little bit more visiting left to do. We'll be out of town over the next few days, but yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of having a few days just with the family again, like the girls here. So yeah, a lot of running around, a lot of visiting, a lot of good food, but a lot of good company. But yeah, looking forward to a few days of rest. And you're mentioning yourself as well. You're a little under the weather.
Yeah, I like just before Christmas, like the kids one by one were going down with some flu, and then then my wife, and I was like, I could feel it coming for me. So like on the 25th, I went down a little bit, but the big family was here and they helped out, so it was very nice. Actually, when you're a parent with 4 kids, that's when you get rest, when you get sick, and then you can just rest when other people are helping. So yeah, but otherwise I had a very nice Christmas.
Good.
And also Rocket Lab was helping out. I think it was still a huge up week again this week, despite the last I think the last trading day was a 6% fall, but even with that, we're like very nicely up this week.
Oh, nice. I don't think I looked once at the market this week. I just kind of assumed it was closed for most of it, or doing half days. It doesn't really do much.
Exactly. That's probably very healthy to not look at it.
Yeah.
Cool. So as I said, we're waiting on Matt. He's too good for this channel. Look, when you're like the official stock streamer of the White House, you don't have time for small podcasts like ours. So I think we're going to start. Matt comes whenever he comes, and we pick it up. So the first news of the week, let me see if I can share the screen. We start with this one. It's a fantastic, amazing news. So the little baby girl, baby G, was born on the 22nd of December. So welcome to the world, and congratulations, Dave. This is why he's not on the show today. And look who answered his post. Congratulations, Dave. 100% mission success. So cool to see. So yeah, congratulations. Now there's 3 of us in the Rocket Lab Weekly with babies. So now the last one is Matt. The pressure is on.
Maybe that's when he's not here today. He's getting to work.
Exactly. Exactly. Cool. Yeah. So I hear she was born on Dave's 6-month anniversary.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because Curtis has he's running this conspiracy theory of why they got married. That's why he put that. Okay, cool. So yeah, we start the week with the real Rocket Lab news now. So we are actually at 21 launches for this year, and Scotto. I looked at the tweets by Eastern Space Flights, and he said, and the picture showed it, that the LC2 and the LC3 are tucked away for the holidays. There's not much action in Wallops. we don't have the same amount of coverage from New Zealand, but we don't have a new launch announcement. So do you think that is it for the year, or do we still might get some surprises?
I don't know. I would imagine that case launch is probably pushed to like the first or maybe second week of January. I was actually looking back, like just through Rocket Lab's history, and I think the latest that they've ever launched before this year was, I think, December 15th, or maybe it was the 20. I think it's the 15th. So already having that most recent. When was the most recent one? On the 18th. That's already, or no, sorry, the 21st is already kind of pushing that record, if you will. So I hope the team's just having a little bit of a Christmas break. It's well deserved after such a busy year. But I mean, if we do get that extra launch, that would be well received as well, making 22 for the full year.
Yeah. Cool. All right. And yeah, I mean, 21 is a fantastic number. It's what percentage wise, let me just not embarrass myself. I'm going to use a calculator. Maybe that already embarrasses me. 21 divided by 16. It's a 31% launch increase. It's nothing to cough at. And if we keep up the same rate of increase, then next year we should have 27.5 launches. So let's round it up to 28. Yeah, cool. So we go to the next one. We have a real live tracking of the Neutron Hungry Hippo fairing, and it's currently here in the ocean. It's got 18 days to Panama. No, sorry, 13 days to arrive to Panama and 18 days on the water so far. So it is getting closer and closer to wallops. In the prediction section, we're going to go over when we expect each of us the Neutron is going to launch. But yeah, so on I was going to say we can take how many launches we expect for next year, but we can take that also in the predictions. Okay, then I think we can move on to the next piece of news. And on this one, Scotto had an update for us about a conference that somehow missed all of our attention. We're about a month late on covering this. And apparently it's really good. So Scott, take it away.
Yeah, so I'll try to kind of be brief, but I mean, there's a lot of really good information. It was the Goldman Sachs Industrial and Materials Conference that took place. I mean, it was uploaded on December 4th, so we'll just say it took place early December, maybe late November, but there's a lot of really good information, and Vince, feel free to stop me at any time. There's just a lot of like updates or kind of reiterations of like timelines and whatnot. So I kind of reorganized the notes into like neutron, electron, and space systems. Oh, and then there's actually a little bit on Escapade as well. That was a separate thing, but it's also a lot of cool tidbits from there as well. So regarding Neutron's timeline, the goal is to get the vehicle to the pad in Q1 and launch as quickly thereafter as they can. Before it was kind of like, are the parts arriving in Q1, or what exactly is the, like how is that being communicated? So it sounds like they're actually trying to have Neutron on the pad in Q1. The goal for the first launch is orbit, reentry, and a propulsive soft landing into the ocean. The goal for the second launch is ideally to be caught on the barge with no reuse planned. They're going to use this for verification and upgrades. And then
by the way, do you want to share your screen or?
Yeah, I might as well. It's not exciting. It's just my like raw notes, but share screen. No, not that one. Entire screen. Hopefully, there's no personal information on the left, but just passwords and stuff. No big deal. Where are we? It's pretty small too, but yeah. So the goal for the third launch will be for that third tail to be reused, assuming everything goes to plan. They mentioned, or Adam mentioned, that they are planning to build a fleet of 4-ish neutrons over the next few years. So this will just be like the reusable part. Obviously, the fairings will need to be, well, one for each launch for obvious reasons. And they're currently expecting a 3-month estimate to refurbish the Neutron for reuse. And this is compared to SpaceX's 29-ish days for Falcon 9. And that the long-term goal is to get that down to 24 hours. He was asked about the cost for the Neutron. They mentioned, Adam was asked like the price or the cost to date and the incremental cost per quarter. Adam mentioned that there is $360 million across CapEx and R&D exiting 2025, and assuming a first half of 2026 launch. So again, that's, I think, worth noting. It kind of sounds like they are aiming for that just based on what Adam said. They're expecting an additional $40 to $50 million across the 2 quarters, so a total of roughly $400 million across the 5-year development period. I don't think this is new information. I just thought this was really cool. Each Archimedes weighs approximately 1 ton. So they're a lot heavier than the, drawing a blank. What's the name of electrons? Not Curie, Rutherford. Yeah. He was asked about neutron demand. I don't need to go over that. Like we kind of know, like I don't want to say quasi infinite, but there's no shortage of demand for any medium launchers over the next 5 to 10 years. Whoops. I don't know what just happened there. Oh, there we go. And for Electron now, Electron operations is a fixed cost of about, we got some autocorrect there. It's supposed to say the operations are at a fixed cost of about $40 million per year. This includes launch facilities, production overhead, labor. This compares to roughly $80 million in standing costs per year for Neutron. He mentioned that there are about 10 launches per year gets to target margins for Neutron. I'm going to take a quick break there because I actually put something together a while back that I don't think I've shared yet on the channel. I guess I could make... So this is kind of like a table that I've put together. And essentially what it is like it shows, as you can see, launch count, the cost for this first stage. So that's set at $60 million for the stage 1. Stage 2 is based on the net cost amount, which is quoted to be 70% of the total cost of the vehicle being in the first stage. So said differently, the net cost is probably around $86 million, $60 million for the stage 1, and then that leaves 25.7 for stage 2. So we have the net revenue per launch and then the net profit, and that compounds over time, assuming the 20 reuses. So again, this is like optimal case, right? So as we look at the margins for that first launch, it's like negative 56% margins, right? So atrocious, but already when you get that second launch off, it's only negative 6%. And then it, as you can see, it really goes up very quick. And by the time you hit that 10th launch, that's kind of where we're already, what is the 10th launch like exact? It's like 34% margins. So as you can see, it's just like after even 5 launches, we're already like looking really good per Neutron. Let me bring those back. And yeah, targeting 20 uses per Neutron. Now, again, that's like optimal. That's like long-term. The first tails, I'm sure we're going to have a couple mishaps along the way, but it's kind of the nature of the beast. Adam mentioned that the guidance for Q4 had roughly 7 Electron launches embedded. So that seems to have slipped. So maybe my take on that is either revenue is going to be down or like missed by 7.5 to 8 million. But I think more realistically, what they'll do is just kind of pull forward some of that space systems revenue, because that can be recognized at any time. I mean, even the launches actually were starting to recognize kind of all over the place. It used to be that like as it ignites, that's when the revenue is recognized, but it kind of seems like everything's a little bit more fluid now. He mentioned that for the Electron, the average selling price continues to go up and to the right, but that's kind of unsurprising for us. Now, Vince, you might remember a little while back, maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, there was a rumor about the Electron being upgraded to be 500 kilograms or maybe even larger. Adam was asked, is there any desire to introduce a rocket between electron and neutron? And Adam mentioned, no, the market does not justify the return on investment of building a 1-ton rocket. So Adam does mention a 1-ton, so I'm not sure if that kind of rules out the rumored 500 kilogram upgrade, or how that, again, I don't know how that would even make sense, but it's clear here that they're not looking at something that's like alpha sized. There's a comment on space system components growing around 20% CAGR. So that's really good. We haven't heard about that for quite some time, but it seems like that 20% CAGR is not only still on track, but it's expected to not change much over the next 3 to 5 years, according to Adam. He also mentions that the gross margins for space systems is actually brought down by solar, which is around 30 points. And some of their other components, I'm assuming that they're talking about software here. Some of their other products are as high as north of 70 points. So it's quite a big variance there, but cool to see. And when Rocket Lab starts with their data application, I'm assuming we're going to be, I don't want to overhype it, but I assume we'll be, over 50% probably for that, rather than something closer to solar. Now, in regards to mergers and acquisitions, Adam mentions that the pipeline has never been more full, and he mentions that having a comms platform payload capability is going to be foundational to us. We're out there looking at key pieces of that signal chain, and he mentions steerable antenna arrays, modems, I'm not sure what PAs is, but there it is, and encryption boxes. So for you sleuths out there, maybe those are some directions we should be pointing in regarding acquisitions. That's what you'll expect from Rocket Lab over the next 12 to 18 months, are these acquisitions, as a series of those things come into focus. The interview ended on an interesting question. He asked Adam, what is one of the most understood things from investors? And Adam mentioned an underappreciation for the growth of companies like Rocket Lab are going to see in international markets. So I think that's huge, especially, we've seen recently, like in Q3, namely, launches from Europe, Korea, and Japan. So we're kind of going all over the place. So that was it for that conference, but there is just one last little, well, it wasn't little, I think it was like 25-minute interview, but I'll kind of cherry pick. It was very for the kind of more science nerd type, is a really good interview, and I highly recommend. It was on Beyond the Forecast with Jeff Edmondson. He was interviewing Christophe Mandy, who is the chief engineer for the Escapade program at Rocket Lab. He also supported the Capstone mission. It was mentioned that there was a cost cap of $55 million for the entire Escapade program. That's for what Rocket Lab, to get those 2 satellites out. I mean, I think the total program was, 70 or 80 million. That included the launch. So, and that was realized over a 3.5-year timeline, including about, more autocorrect. I'm not sure what my own notes say sometimes. Spacecraft. Oh, okay. So this is actually from somebody else. So, I'll kind of skim past these. I just thought it was really interesting. So we had that launch in, I think it was it late October, early November, that Escapade launch?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the exact date.
I think it was early November. Either way, it's kind of just chilling, waiting for the right moments to kind of take off again. But during that period, it's actually going to be doing solar science with their instruments while it loiters around in that, I'm not even going to try, Lagrange point or something. I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Lagrange.
So it's already being beneficial while it just waits around, which I thought was very Rocket Lab of it. And then after that point, it's going to take, or after so it's going to just kind of do that till November 2026. And then from there, it's going to make that injection. It'll take 11 months to travel to Mars. And I think it kind of waits around there. Yeah, it needs to wait around 7 months for this while Mars passes behind the sun. And then it's going to do its Mars orbit injection or insertion at that point. So ultimately, we're not arriving there till May of 2028, which is a lot later than I thought it would be, but still really cool. At that point, it'll do an 11-month science mission, and then ideally, we'll continue to operate past this until the fuel runs out. And then the final little bit here is that the escapade sats are roughly 500 kilograms, and roughly 60% of that mass is fuel. And the original vendor for the fuel tanks was supposed to deliver within 2 years, but ran into issues. So about 8 months before Rocket Lab needed those tanks, Rocket Lab just decided we're going to have to do this ourselves. So going from like having a vendor of like, you know, like, hey, we need your stuff, to being like, okay, you guys can't do it in 2 years. We need to do it in 8 months. And they did it. So I thought that was super impressive.
That is super impressive.
Yeah. So that's my notes. I thought there's a lot of really good information that we'll probably reference a lot over the next few weeks, especially that stuff on Neutron. So I felt it was worth sharing.
Yeah. Thank you. That was very, very interesting, especially on Neutron margins and fixed costs, and that they're. So I'm actually surprised that they're like even the second barge landing. So the second landing is when they're trying to land on a barge, and if that is successful, it's still they're not even planning to reuse that one. That was a bit surprising, but I mean, I guess it in a way it is a very lean, because you know then you can get rid of a lot of mass, I guess, because you don't need. Actually, I'm not sure what they win on it. Yeah, I'm actually not sure why they're like for sure not reflying the second one. Yeah, but that is still very interesting. And the fact that it's so the fixed cost for Electron, so even if they have 0 launches for Electron, there is $40 million of, you know, personnel, launchpad costs, and for Electron, which is like a 15 times as big rock. No, it's like, my math is horrible, but probably like 45 times bigger in payload capacity, something like that. The cost is only double.
Very impressive.
Yeah. That is very impressive. And am I correct in assuming, so if the yearly cost is 80 million, so let's say that the Neutron rocket is, let's say 30 million to build and 55 million to launch. So it's like, let's say 25 million gross margin, right? So from that 25 million is what you pay the 80 million with for the fixed costs. Am I understanding it correctly, or does it get?
I'm not too sure.
Like ultra nerd territory, but because if that is the case, that let's say that the rocket is 35 million, 55 million is a launch, so each launch gets you 20 million in gross profit. So that means that they need to launch 4 times to earn back like the base cost of Neutron, and then the 5th launch is like 100% profit, and then like all of the gross.
Yeah, I think I know where you're coming from. I realized I forgot to mention the assumption of a $5 million refurbishment cost in there. So like, it's like the net cost is like we'll call it $86 million for the first, but then including the second stage and the refurbishment cost of stage 1, it would only be, mental math, like not even, what is that, 70 or so, give or take. So it's like, like 86 million to build is my understanding. And then past that, it would only be, 30% addition $30 million addition, give or take, for each subsequent launch. So you can see like the combined net revenue is here, and then the combined gross profit over time.
But then in your table, you're assuming like immediate reuse of neutrons.
Yeah. This is just like the ideal situation for one single neutron based on what's been said about it. So
so this table that you showed is like the per rocket table, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Cool. All right, thank you for this great info. And I actually had this clipped also for you guys, exactly what you also talked about. Adam Spice went on CNBC and talked about the most underrated or ununderstood thing about Rocket Lab, and I just wanted to play it for you. Please let me know if there is sound.
I think that is actually one of the most underappreciated growth opportunities in this market. when I look back and see how space spending has been over the last few decades, vast majority of the spend was concentrated in the United States and with the United States government. I think with some of the changes now that you see in geopolitics, I think that really could usher in an era of, I would say, a more prolific spend, in some ways less efficient, because now you're having people do the same thing in multiple, geographies. But I think for somebody who sells the picks and shovels to those people, I think it's a great opportunity for us. So I do think that's, again, one of the areas where, I think investors probably haven't really kind of caught on to what that could look like over the course of, say, the next 10 years. But I think it's a very big, underestimated future growth, like people who are well positioned to exploit it. I think that is actually one of the...
So yeah, I was also thinking about this, like how well we understand this, that because of geopolitics, like it looks like the EU is going to focus on their own space program. Japan is trying to focus on their space program, and Rocket Lab is selling parts to everyone, and is a very non-controversial, generally liked company by everyone. And even though this method is like less efficient, meaning that probably the rockets will not be as cheap as they could be, and there will be a lot of like rocket development costs. But for a company that supplies all the parts, it's a bonanza, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how to put it into numbers, so I'll take him at face value that it's just going to be really good at the company, like for the company.
Mm-hmm. It's got a good track record so far. I'll give him that.
Yeah, exactly. Francisco is asking, Vince, how's that Firefly Alpha pad over there in your country? Well, I have no clue because there's no launches. So probably it's 100% cost for Firefly. And I think the minute there is launches, I would know about it. I don't think it's a good strategy to like have more launch pads than successful launches with your rocket. That's all I will say about that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So in this week space news, there came a very interesting news that was definitely not on my bingo card for this year. So Eric Berger even posted a meme about it, but we start with the announcement. So Blue Origin posted, we are pleased to announce that Tori Bruno is joining Blue Origin as President, National Security. Reporting to CEO Dave Limp, Tori will spearhead our newly formed national security group. And he posted this meme. Trade offer, I received the engines to compete with you for DoD launch, and you receive my CEO to be the DoD contract rainmaker. I mean, with this news, so ULA has been up to sale for over 2 years. Reportedly, Rocket Lab is interested. That's the next piece of news that we're gonna go into. And now they lose their legendary CEO. I think that this company is quite cooked. Yes, they have a lot of contracts from the Department of Defense, but once those contract runs out, I don't see how their rocket is competitive in this market. So what do you think, Scott?
Yeah, not looking good. I mean, I don't want to just like pin it solely on them, but I think they're supposed to have something like 20 launches this year, and I think they ended up with, I think, closer to 5, if I'm not mistaken. 6 was it? Yeah. 6. And a lot of those were supposed to be for Project Kuiper / Leo, and that whole thing has kind of been set back now. And they need to get a certain amount of satellites up by, I think, June of 2026, or I mean, realistically, they get a slap on the wrist, and the FCC extends that, their specifications, what do you want to call that? But yeah, not a good look. And I find it's, I don't know, interesting that he's going to Blue Origin, given Blue Origin's, I don't know, not that they're having troubles. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. And honestly, I didn't even know that he was going to Blue Origin. I just heard it was a rumor until right now. I thought, like, I was just listening to a podcast earlier today of like, can he go to the competition? Like, where could he go? Where might it be? Like, is it like clearly not Boeing or Lockheed Martin again? But yeah, that's interesting that he's going to Blue Origin. I don't know what to think of that.
And apparently he's the one who is really good at getting these DoD contracts. That's why Eric Berger made this joke that I give you engines so you can compete with me, and I take your CEO, who's the rainmaker of these contracts. So that means that somebody was asking if the ULA is how do you call it, is going up for a fire sale. Like, I don't think that they have financial issues per se yet, at least, but again, they have about $10 to $12 billion in sales backlog, and when they use that backlog up, I don't see who's going to buy rockets from them, especially when Neutron is going to be online, New Glenn is going to have cadence, Starship maybe is going to be online. So there's no way that they're competitive.
Mm-hmm. And probably by then too, like ideally Stokes Nova will be launched as well. Hopefully Firefly and Northrop's Eclipse is launching by then as well. Like, yeah, it's going to be interesting to kind of consider who's going to go with him, and kind of like have that half-baked assumption that it's going to be like an extra 2 years until anything goes up, you know, not even 2 years, but like, I guess longer than that. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So let's go to the next one, which is I have seen credible news that Rocket Lab was interested in ULA two times, because first, when I saw this news, I was like, yeah, but we heard that in 2023 Rocket Lab expressed interest, but then it looks like in 2025 Rocket Lab expressed interest again, and there was a tweet by Jack Kerr, who was basically going into how Rocket Lab's valuation has ballooned so much that it would be a relatively small hit to buy ULA for $5 billion, and you're getting a $10 billion combined backlog. And on the face value, it's like, you know, like it kind of sounds like a good deal, but you have to think about like the $5 billion that you spend on this, you have to earn back from the rocket launches, and it's not that you're getting 10 billion in profit. So I don't know what the gross profit is on the ULA launches. I have no clue. I don't know how much employee cost they have. I can't imagine if their profit margin is 10%. I think that that's really good. It means that there is 1 billion in upside for these contracts. And on top of it, you, me, and other guys were speaking with Adam Spice on the LC3 opening in Wallops this year. And Adam Spice said that when they look at an acquisition, it's very important for them that the cultures match. And he was talking about like how they visit the company quarters, and they love to see that even the computer cables are, you know, like beautifully arranged, and that's how much pride people need to have in their work. And I just don't see the ULA culture and the Rocket Lab culture. So again, theoretically, it would be possible that Rocket Lab could acquire ULA, like, because Rocket Lab is $40 billion valuation, like probably a deal could be worked out. I don't know. I think there's a 0% chance of that happening. But am I missing something, Scott?
No, I'm seeing a few comments too about like just the cultures not lining up, like, and I'm sure this makes absolutely no sense, but I wonder if it could just be a simple transaction of like, yeah, if it is just a matter of like, hey, they have $10 billion worth of backlog and it's priced at $5 billion, just take those satellites and put them on a Neutron, and you know that whatever margin goes to what's more appropriate to Rocket Lab. But then, yeah, of course, it's not that clean of a swap over. I think
it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I was going to say that that's the only way I could see this deal is if they can convert the backlog to neutron backlog, and they can like close down the whole like. So if they could, do like we buy your backlog, you can keep all your facilities and your rockets, like. But I don't know if such a deal would even be possible.
Yeah, I think like I don't think so. Like, and the reason I say that is because there are other companies that Rocket Lab could have bought already. Like, I don't know the exact dollar amount for like a Firefly or Relativity or whoever, but Astra's actually the best example, or Virgin Orbit, where it's like you can or Rocket Lab could have either diluted shareholders, raised a bunch of cash, bought out their competitor, or simply sit on their hands. And like, I think what we're going to probably see with Firefly is like how many of their, I mean, they give different numbers. Sometimes it's more than 20, sometimes it's more than 50 in their backlog, but how many of those launches just end up coming to Rocket Lab in the end for $0, right? So maybe they'll just let ULA kind of churn through that backlog and then just kind of be like, hey, do you guys want to keep waiting around for ULA, or do you want to just go on somebody who's actually launching,
Yeah, that's actually a good point, that maybe the backlog will come around to Rocket Lab anyways, because if ULA is not doing a good job scaling the contracts, then I
was going to say, especially with like the Amazon stuff, like they needed to get them to orbit. And I mean, that's kind of like a bit of a, Amazon's fault as well, where it's like maybe instead of snubbing SpaceX because of Bezos and Elon's, high school drama, maybe you should have went with SpaceX because it's what's fiscally responsible and most, like the most surefire bet. You know what I mean? Just launching on the Falcon 9, like swallow your pride, go with what's actually going to get your satellites to orbit, rather than trying to snub Elon and prove some point.
Yeah. The only other logical reason to formally express interest in ULA is some good old industrial spying, and like looking at their margins, looking at how the business works, like what exactly is their capabilities. But so we both agree there's zero chance of that acquisition happening.
Yeah, and one last thing I'll say to this is like kind of to what you just said, Vince, is like maybe that like espionage is kind of like, oh, you guys are up for sale, well, let's take a look at your books, you know what I mean, and kind of taking a look through them and being like, okay, we got what we needed, like, no thank you, what I mean?
Yeah. All right, cool. So I think that was all the news that I had for this year. And Matt, he's still doing his makeup. I don't know how beautiful he thinks he needs to be.
He'll be here any minute, guys.
Yeah, he'll be here any minute. So I think we can look at the predictions that we did last year and have a good laugh. Let me see if I can. No, how do I? Some time ago, I did here slideshow. So let me see if you guys, you guys see my screen. Here we go. So the first question was how many launches, including Neutron, we will have in 2025. So obviously this one was a dud. No, sorry, I'm too tired. So it's launches and including Neutron we will have. So the actual launches is 21. The year is not finished yet. But okay, this one maybe we need to revisit if there is another launch. But let's suppose that there's no more launches this year. So Dave said that they will guide for 25, but the actual number that they will come in will be at 21. And he was dead on. Mm-hmm. Matt was a bit more bullish. He said 22 to 23. I was thinking 20 launches, and Scott was at 22. So I was thinking we have a point system that if you were dead on, you get 3 points. And if you were very close, like one off, then you get 1 point. And then if you were like quite off, then you get 0 point. If you were like dead wrong, I was thinking about minus points, but whatever. So Dave gets 3 points for this prediction, and all of us Matt, Vince, and Scott will get 1 point.
Nice.
Cool. We go to the next one. Which month of the year does Neutron launch in? Yeah, this one. Should we get minus points for this? No, we all get 0. We were dead wrong on this one. Okay, the next one. How far does the first Neutron launch go? Clear tower, max Q, orbit, etc., etc. So yeah, we also got minus points for this one. Does Escapade launch in 2025? This was an interesting one. So me, Dave, and Matt, we were so freaking pessimistic on Blue Origin, and Scott gave them a shot, and it earned him 3 points.
Cool.
So yeah, very interesting. The only one. Do we get approved and onboarded for the NSSL? Yeah, I this one came true, and everybody was a yes. So I guess everybody gets 3 points for this one. So just a standing. So Dave is currently at 6 points, and he is in second place to Scott, who is at 7 points, and Matt and I are at 4 and 4 points. So here's a very interesting one. Will there be an acquisition in 2025? So Dave and Matt said yes. Vince said no. That was a retarded answer. And Scott, look at this, guys. He was not only correct, he named the freaking company that they were going to acquire. So, I think this deserves plus points. What do you?
I'll say so.
Yeah. So I think Dave gets 1 point for this. Matt gets 1 point. I get 0. Should get minus points, and Scott gets another 3 points for this one.
Was Minorca announced by that point?
No. How do you mean if it was?
Well, like, was it announced that it was going to be acquired yet? I can't remember if that was still when I was
No.
That's cool. It's cool that we have that in writing. I know I mentioned it on a previous episode, but that's cool.
Yeah. So how many interviews will we do with Sir Peter Beck and Adam Spice? So by the way,
do we count LC3?
Yeah, that
kind of an interview.
Yeah, but do you know how many we did?
No, like 2 first. Was it 2 or 3? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's only 2. It's only 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So Matt gets 3 points on this one. Dave and Scott get 1 and 1 point, and I get 0 again. I don't. Maybe I should cover another company. I don't seem to get it. So here's a really funny one, guys.
Oh,
so
man.
What will the stock price be at the end of 2025? And I believe at the time when we did this, the stock price was about 25, and it ran a lot. 225. I think that year we went from like 4 to 25, and it felt like even going to 30 was like a big bold prediction. So yeah, Dave thought we would end the year at 30.37. Matt I remember when he said 45, we were like, what? Wow, oh my God, what a brave prediction. We're at over 70, guys. So I was, for some reason, the least bullish, and Scotto was at 32. So do we all get minus points for this? Like maybe Matt gets 1 point because he was the closest, and then I think that's what we do. Matt gets 1 and we all get 0.
Yeah. Okay.
So what I want to say that is really interesting about this is that some of us, like, we are the people who follow this company the closest on the planet, I think. And even we can't predict what the price is going to do a year from now. And so you can't time the market. You really can't time the market. So it's just when a good company is cheap, I guess you buy and then you just hold. Cool. We go to the next one. No electron reuse. So we get Dave, no. Matt, no. Vince, no. And Scott said yes. Okay, you get minus points. No, you get Do we get 3 points or 1 point for this? I mean, we were that on.
I don't know.
I don't know. It feels like a 1 pointer. It was a very safe. Okay, and that was all the predictions. So, who do you think won?
I think Dave.
Okay, let me see. So Dave has 9 points. Matt has. Matt has 10 points.
Nice.
Okay, and Vince has 4 points. Oh my God, that's pathetic. I need to find another company to cover. And drum roll, Scotto has 11 points.
Nice.
So, yeah, nice. So Scotto wins the predictions.
Cool.
For 2025. But I think let's do the predictions for 2026, and then we can update it with Miss Iglesias and Dave and Matt whenever they're available. Matt still might come in. I don't know how much makeup you need. And you guys can also play this game with us if you want to. You guys can write up your own predictions, and then we all can share it in the next Christmas episode. So let's go over to the 2026 predictions. So how many launches, including Neutron, will we have in 2026?
Let's go with. Oh, I just looked at the numbers too. 22. Let's go with 30. 30 even. No, you know what? 28.
30, wow.
No. Including Neutron, hey? Okay, let's go 30.
Yeah.
30. Yeah, feel good about 30.
Wow. Okay. I was going to say 28.
Okay.
28 launches. Okay. Yeah, the next one. Which month of the year does Neutron launch?
I think.
Should we say this like quarter, maybe, or like to make it easier, or?
No, I like it harder. I think we should go month.
Okay, we go hard. We go hardcore.
Let's go. I'll go August.
It's funny because I was basically going to also say August. Okay, but just to not be the same, I'm okay. Oh fuck, it's a tough one because like the Hungry Hippo is on the way, so many things are on the way, and they should easily be able to have everything on the pad. Because what if the schedule, like when you always remake the schedule, like at one point you go from negative to like a very optimistic. Sorry, you go from optimistic to a very negative, and then like having the rocket assembled in Q1, like January is also Q1, and launching it in Q2 is like April is also Q2. I'm going to say July. Okay, cool. How far does the first Neutron launch go? I mean, maybe here we can just leave the answers, or did you?
What's mine?
Your answer was orbit off nominal landing. Need a second one.
Yeah, I think we'll reach. Yeah. Yeah. Let's stick with it. Reach an orbit.
You stick with that.
Okay. Landing.
Okay, cool. Does Escapade launch in 2025? I mean, this one we need a new question. What do you think the question should be?
Trying to think of something like satellite related, but I don't know anything.
Yeah. Do we get the Mars the MTO orbiter?
I like that one. I think we must.
I also think so. Do we get the MTO contract in 2026?
I wonder how quick we could get that. Maybe we should put a time frame to that too.
Okay, if we're that confident, which quarter do we get that?
Yeah, maybe for this one we'll do quarters. I bet we get this in.
Which
Isaacman just came in. I wonder how long it'll take.
we
But they're
get?
trying to like get it for 2028. Let's go with
Yeah, and it's appropriated, right? Like it's
Hmm.
and the bids are submitted as far as I understand. So
Mhm.
like practically they just need to announce it and start working on it.
Yeah, I mean, I bet it's Q1.
Aggressive. Oh my god. Okay, Q1. I'm going to go Q2.
Okay.
Q2. But it's true. Yeah, I mean, it can be as soon as possible. Okay. Next one. Do we get approved and onboarded for the S? So here we also need a new question. Okay, so here's an interesting one. How about how many neutrons do we sell in 2026?
Mm,
Do you like that question, or
I
should
do.
we? Should
I do.
we can also check from the audience if you guys want any other. So Francisco says, what about the Golden Dome? The thing is that the Golden Dome is, as far as I understand, it's not like one contract. It's like a myriad of programs that constitute Golden Dome. So if you have a specific one for Golden Dome, do we launch Flatellite? That's also a pretty good one. Okay, maybe we add that also.
Okay.
And they're asking how many sold are we at this point for Neutron? I think we're
For
at
Neutron,
5.
for Neutron?
Yeah.
No, like it's kind of a tricky answer. There's 2 like dedicated launches. There's one that's like going to be added onto because it's a ride share, and then we have Venus, which I don't I think that's going to be just the Rocket Labs like sent on their own, and then the first launch, which is not really a booked launch. For the Neutron, or sorry, maybe how many Neutron launches? Oh yeah, so for this one, if there's like another one that's like tacked onto that ride share, does that count as a Neutron being sold in 2026? How do I do that?
I think it has to be like separate launches of neutrons.
Okay. I bet we get I want to say 3.
Okay.
Let's
I'm going to go with 10.
10. Yeah, I'm thinking it's either going to be like low single digits or like a big bulk order by one, like an Amazon Leo or something. It's just we're gonna take the first 5 years kind of thing.
Yeah, that's also what I'm thinking. That 10 would like knock out like 3 years of capacity.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe I'll go 4 instead.
Okay, 4.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next question. Will there be an acquisition in 2026?
Yes.
I'm also changing.
I'm going to go with a number. I'm going to bet there's 2 acquisitions in 2026.
Okay. I don't dare to put a number. I need my 1 point at least. Cool. How many interviews will we do with Sir Peter Beck and Adam Spice this year?
I think I bet 2. I feel good about 2.
I'm also going to go with 2. Okay. Okay, here's a super interesting one. Also, audience, what will Rocket Lab stock price be at the end of 2026? Not financial advice, as you saw.
Yeah.
Pure guessing. Yeah, and Moneric doesn't count. Somebody says counting Moneric in the acquisition because it hasn't closed yet. So that's a technicality. You're correct. It hasn't closed yet, but it was announced. So like for me, an acquisition would be like it was on the Rocket Lab investor relationship page that, hey, we're acquiring so-and-so company.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I was actually thinking about this one this morning because like I could either see like a Neutron launch sell-off, but if the rumors about the SpaceX IPO are true, I think there'll be enough people that are just going to be like, look at their 1.5 trillion and Rocket Labs, what are we at, like 25, 30 billion?
40, I think now.
Yeah. So yeah, this is pure speculation. Like this I don't know. Just throwing a dart at the board, but let's go with, I want to say 100, maybe 120. Let's go 120. Why not?
Okay. Last year I was the most bearish by 37 cents. This year I was honestly thinking 150.
Wow.
Yeah. And also the same, I mean, I just feel that there is so much how do you call it? Like so much momentum behind the stock and so many things happening. If we get the Mars MTO contract, Jarek Eisenman is the NASA director, first launch of Neutron. I mean, if that is successful, there probably will be block sale announcement of Neutron contracts. There probably will be other Golden Dome sales. And the SpaceX, I mean, the SpaceX IPO, I think, is just going to be a general halo. Yeah, it's interesting. The audience is like 183, 140, 160, 250, 108, easy 100 plus. Curtis thinks 150, 112. If SpaceX IPO, 150 easily. If Rocket Lab is 150 by the end of the year, I can retire. That's amazing. Actually, if Rocket Lab is 150, I can retire my parents. So that would be amazing. Nice. For me. Yeah, that would be amazing. Cool. Let's delete the guys's. What is it? Wait, if we are at 40 billion, am I too bearish? Like we would be only 80 billion with yeah, but that would probably be like an 80 price to sales next. I mean, we don't have their guidance, but yeah, that's pretty crazy. Okay, we leave it at this. Cool. So is there any other questions that you guys think that we should add?
I'm just scrolling through the comments. There are a few good suggestions. There's that one about the flatellite, but I think that everybody will just unanimously say no. I think it would have to be announced much earlier.
Oh wait, there was one last question. Electron reuse, but I mean, they kind of said that they're not working on this, so we can just we rewrite this question to whatever the audience wants. Do we get a large commercial constellation contracts? You see, that's also a tricky one, because do you mean that we launch a commercial, which would be like a block sale of Neutron, or do you mean that we supply parts to it, or do you mean that we're making the satellites? Because, supplying parts to it, like it feels like we are kind of supplying the Leo constellation, the previous Kuiper.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does Vin stop getting cover calls? Dude, I think that the cover calls, they were my biggest investment mistakes ever, and I'm probably going to remember them until I die. But I definitely learned my lesson.
Oh shoot, I just had like 3 good questions in a row. Oh, where was that?
How many haste launches? That's
there it is, Francisco. Yeah, let's do that. Haste, I bet we get. Oh, I should peek at my tracker. I bet we get 5. Maybe more. No, we gotta have more. Let's go with 7. 7 haste launches.
Okay, 7. This is a tough one. Because I want to be bullish on it, but it's also like governments, right? I'm gonna go with 6. Okay. Any other question?
There was 2, or there are 2 people. Where was that? Curtis and Nick mentioned basically like, will Rocket Lab announce what the constellation will be, or like do they announce their application. I think
One more time. What was the question?
like the heart of the question is like, does Rocket Lab announce their data application or like their constellation plan in 2026?
Interesting. Constellation plans. What do you think? So 2026 Neutron is probably they will have had a hopefully successful or an unsuccessful flight, and they will be in the middle of scaling it. Based on all the comms that we had with Sir Peter Beck, I think 2026 will not be the right time yet.
I'm going to say yes. So I think whether Neutron 1 is successful or not, I think it'll be a nice positive way to spin, where it's either like, see what we did, check out what comes next, or like, yeah, there was a mess up, but just wait, because we got a lot more cooking. So I think it could be like a nice PR patch.
Yeah, I can see that. Or maybe what it would depend on, maybe it also depends on an acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
That they acquire a company and they can say like, this is our constellation plan.
Mm-hmm. Does this also include like if someone like, does this include an external customer, but the constellation is operated by Rocket Lab? Like if another country was like, we're ordering 25 satellites for like D2D kind of thing.
I literally thought about that also. Or like a government says that like we need a military constellation from Rocket Lab and we're paying this many millions per year. Like you guys go ahead and launch them and do everything. I mean, because they did say they will have multiple constellations, right?
Yeah. I think that's a safe bet. Yeah.
So I mean, I guess that should count. Okay, but then I also revise mine to yes. I revise mine to yes because I feel that there is like too many potentials where they can announce it.
Mm-hmm.
What will be the lowest price Rocket Lab will trade at in 2026? Yeah, that one is like, I don't know. I don't want to bet on that. I feel it's any other question? I saw the Golden Dome one, but maybe we should say like, is there another like $1 billion contract that we're going to get from Golden Dome, or should we have such a question?
I'm not, maybe not that one. I think that, I don't know, the lines between SDA and Golden Dome are kind of blurring at this point. And I think that that's probably like the next big tranche, whenever will probably be in 2 years. I'm seeing several questions about data centers too. I don't know if you want to include something about that.
I don't know.
Does Rocket Lab mention data centers on their Q1 call or their Q4 call?
Yeah, I think I remember an interview with Ashley Vance when he even asked Sir Peter Beck about data centers in space, and I think Sir Peter Beck said that it's like he doesn't really see the business case, but he said that if it's going that way, like they're very well set up. It was something like this was his answer.
Mm-hmm. I'm still struggling to see the economics of that. I'd love to have someone on the show that is like super bullish on data centers and wants to kind of pave that path.
What about Venus? Okay, I think we leave the list. Maybe when Matt and Dave comes on and Miss Iglesias, like maybe they also come with some interesting questions that we can add. Cool. Piano time. Prove your head is not deformed. It is deformed. This is my head. No, I don't know. That piano is is AI generated, or I don't know, whatever generated. And I can't play the piano, so I don't know what it would prove. Cool. But yeah, I think will we have a neutron party? Francisco, what do you think we were doing in Wallops in August? I thought that was the neutron party. It was so obvious the stock were going to go over 45. If it was so obvious, were you buying call options, Sergio? I hope you were. I feel like nothing is obvious. I mean, I remember like sitting here talking about Rocket Lab at 4 and how like the price is like so low, and then it went to 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool, guys. I think this was the show for this week. Unless, you guys have any question or Scott, you want to say something?
No, I don't think so. No, just looking over my notes. There's a little bit of insider selling, but nothing too crazy. Peter Beck, he sold the second half of his pre-planned, whatever you want to call that second block. So nothing surprising though, because that was telegraphed in June, I think. So,
and guys, just want to point out for all the people who freak out when Sir Peter Beck is selling stocks and call them. I saw this one post who was like, "This is a Ponzi scheme because Sir Peter Beck was selling." He sold like less than a week before the SDA or the SDA contract announcement. I think he lost. I don't want to count how much money he lost on it, but I think it was like to the tune of like $100 million that he missed out on a few days, and it's his own company. So yeah, cool, guys. Thank you so much for your support. It's been another year. Merry Christmas if you're still celebrating it. And Happy New Year. We'll see you guys in 2026. And let's hope for Rocket Lab 150 in 2026.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Awesome,
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, ciao.